Hey everyone. Played Memento for my Burst Protocol pre-release last weekend. Made top 8, went X1, barely not making top 4. There was a couple X1s that didn't make it, and I just happened to be one of those. I only lost to Dracoto, which is a pretty tough matchup for this deck, especially when they have Niv, Fua, and Fimeta. But outside of that, like most of your matchups feel really comfortable, and I beat like lots of varieties, and this was pre-ban list for most people, so yeah, you're still. I was still running like full power Mitsuyumi during the tournament. So it's Memento. I've been playing the same list for like nearly a month now. So this list I've made very little changes throughout the main deck. The side deck has a few changes. So starting off with the starters, I'm gonna start with two Angwitch, three Tatsu, two Goblin, and one Darkblade. These are your best one card starter combos. Um, Depending on the situation, each are better than others. Like so, Angwitch is awful if you have like a Biscuit or something, but if you play Bestials or Nib or something, you can just tribute a summon the Tatsu or whatever, right? Or they work well without like Darkblade and Goblin. They work without needing like the Tatsu summon. So depending on how your build is, these starters are all really important depending on like whether you start with monsters on your field or not that aren't mementos. Generally, though, going second, Anguish is going to be the best one to stuff like Dracotail, just because it's really annoying for some reason. I always open these three when I play against Dracotail, and they always horn it back. And I wish I could have just opened any of these other cards. But just eight for me. And the reason why I play eight and not like a third Anguish is because is this eight? Yeah, this is eight. But the reason why I don't play a third Anguish is because I'm playing the Canine package, so it kind of interferes whenever you search Anguish with Tatsu, and then your Tatsu's not live. For the rest of those, Mage, Sleepy, Gaddock, Aki, Horn Dragon, and Combined Creation. All really good, all really important. You can make an argument to cut Horn Dragon, but I think the body provides it's actually really important, especially when you're making dark to like just take stuff out of the grave. Pretty standard stuff, I'm gonna say. I know some people play or talk about playing too sleepy. I think that's a bit of a mistake because like sleepy's not like a true extender. Sleepy's like a third extender kind of a thing. Like if let's say you're playing Goblin and then you get Impermed here, like Sleepy doesn't do anything. Like unless it was destroyed, it doesn't do anything. So you need like a quick play to play. So I just wanted to prioritize drawing cards that actually let me play through stuff. Then kind of like what I mentioned earlier, playing the Canine package, three Zuna, one Lupus. This is really good, along with the Duck Charger. I like this engine a lot because there's a lot of synergy between this and that. If you make a rank five or so during your opponent's turn, you can start your turn by detaching from it for free, and so you just have full combo for like committing zero cards, and it's super awesome. Honestly, it came up a couple times. And then for the Radiant Typhoon package, I'm just playing one Swen and one Eldum. I think any more than this is awful because Eldum's like the worst one for going second because you can normal summon it and you search Swen, but then that's it. Like you don't deal with their back row. If you could summon this for free, it's great, but that just doesn't happen. So Eldum's like the worst one for going second. Swen's better because it can get you vision normal summoning or it can get you like a draw. So these cards are great for going first, awful for going second though. And depending on the matchup, like I generally side them out. So that's it for the monsters. And then for the spells, I'm playing three chant, one vision, one MST. There's an argument to play two vision. I do like vision a lot, honestly. Vision's pretty great, but it feels a bit cloggy at two sometimes. Like sometimes you like all your quick plays, so you kind of want to keep them anyway. But going second, I side out the two chance and the two Radiant Typhoon monsters, and I just keep this in to actually have three MSTs, which comes up a lot. I actually really like this engine a lot, mainly because it gives you in-deck outs to stupid stuff. Like when you run to Floodgates like D-Fissure or something, having access to cards like this that just out it is really helpful. So like I don't know, this deck folds to like random Floodgates sometimes, like a I got D-Fissure. D-Fissure's been floating around a lot lately at my local, so that card's been a pain in the ass, and this card and this set is like really good for dealing with that. Then for the rest of the quick plays are more engine related. It's going to be three Bone Party, three Fusion, and then two Breakout. Um, I think this is fine. The only thing you have to be careful about is sequencing sometimes. And that's sometimes if you break out and then they ash it, you don't have a body for Bone Party. So I would just kind of be careful about that. I always want to try and use Breakout first instead of Bone Party, since Bone Party is more versatile. But sometimes you need a Bone Party first and then Breakout after. And Fusion at 3 is super insane. I play against a lot of Memento in my deck and or my locals, and discarding this is just really good. Getting a free search to start your turn. For the rest of the engine spells, we're playing Breakout and Field Spell. Super important cards. This card's secondary effect, like Banish Stab Back a Goblin, came up a couple times. A lot more than I would have expected, because sometimes when you're trying to play around Bell or something on your fusion, you want to add back the third name with Goblin so you can fusion for 3 with Sleepy. And that was like the main reason why I used it. Then for non-engine, playing 3 Fuwa, 3 Chalice, 2 Droplet, and 1 Talons. I I think originally when I was trying this, I was trying out 1 Chalice and then 2 Metatronus, and it was really good sometimes against stuff like Yummy and all that stuff to like hit mace. But like outside of that, sometimes they just made a snatchy, and it's like, oh, well, your game state's more simplified, and you're like, wow, I really wish I could just imperm the snatchies instead of like letting them get all the way to Herald or whatever. And that's where like Metatronus really sucked. So I like Chalice a lot. Plus, it beats like rogue things. Like there's a Fire King player I ran into, and having the Chalice versus Grunix is insane. Same with an aircraft. So Chalice is pretty amazing. I would keep playing it at 3. Droplets is always really good, but I didn't play it at 2 this time just because I knew people were still going to be on Herald for this tournament, and you just hate to see this against Herald. It is amazing as everything else though. But just 9 on engine. You could arguably make a case for 13 on engine with the Izunas and the Lupus. This is also non-engine. The idea of this non-engine, like all of these cards, is just to like clear the board as best as possible. Like ideally, I just make Typhon or something as Draco Tail. I attack and I make Zeus, and that's just the way I clear the board. So, um, yeah, most of it is just really outing Draco Tail specific cards, or really outing Herald. Like you can kind of play around Draco Tail a little bit. It's honestly a really hard matchup, but Yummy definitely FTK'd you as to where like Draco Tail like sort of give you a chance. So that's it for the main deck. It's a 45 card main deck. I could see myself cutting these for following the Virtuouses just to have like a just have more streamlined non-engine set. For the extra deck, I am playing 2 Creation King, 1 Twin Dragon, Birth Mint, and Guardian Chimera. Um, these cards are really good. This card I didn't go into all day during the tournament, but other tournaments I have. I find that this card's really good when they let you full combo, and that one in the future you can send stuff like Invader of Chaos or whatever. The one that stops quick plays, so that's really good for that situation. It's also really good for playing around breakers. So a lot of times what I try and do in my combos is I'll summon this, and instead of setting the second one, I will link it off or something, banish it, so I can legally bring it back with the birth mint, and it just plays around breakers to where no matter what happens, you will always have this into Creation King to pop one, and that will always trigger Aki Hero and your field spell. So it just kind of ensures that you always kind of have a way to stay alive and way to play, and it's really hard to interact with this card in particular. For the links, I'm playing 1 Dark, SP, IP, Proxy, and Gorgon. These cards are these cards are the worst ones. These 2 could be cut. These 3 I went into a lot. If you go into Birthment, you're gonna go into Birthment via Proxy. There's no other way to do it. The body to summon off Proxy to like a Goblin or something actually kind of comes up sometimes, which is really cool. Just to make more links. And SP is really important. I always try and end on it. So these are the 2 you typically go through in your combo. And the Darkest is a utility card that I like a lot. Like I said, I run into a lot of Mitsurugi, so the ability to like take their Murakumo or like force it out early to like board wipe is really good, and it searches you a starter worst case if something does happen. Sometimes I think about playing the Earth Charmer because you play a decent amount of Earths along with your like your Canines and your Tatsu and your Sleepy. So being able to summon the Dark Charmer, especially in the Canine matchup or something, and then like if it gets destroyed, you can search Sleepy. It lets you kind of like survive a little more. And these 2 are like good in theory. To be honest, I only make these cards when I'm like Giga winning, and they never come up. Like a Lunalight out is kind of why I have them. It might be kind of fake since I'm not running to a lot of Lunalight, but I I feel like these cards are still like okay. These are definitely the most cuttable cards in my extract though. Then for the XZs, I'm playing one Gabonga, Valon, Ripper, Typhon, and Zeus. This extract is very, very tight. Like, there's a lot I want to play. Like I said, these two are the most flexible spots. I think these all have to stay, right? If you're playing, one of the reasons why I really like the Canine is to make Typhon on my opponent's turn, so that during my turn I can swing with it and then drop a Zeus over. That is a genuine strategy I have to like win going second sometimes. I think against something like a Neocraft where I got defissured, I was able to bone party out of Tatsu, summon Lupus, make like Valon swing, and then make Zeus. So Zeus is really important to clear stuff. It really it is a genuine win condition. Ripper's okay. It doesn't really come up that much for me. Ripper really only comes up when I go first and I get hand trapped and I'm able to make an Izuna. So then I go Izuna, make Ripper, detach Lupus, search another Zuna so I can have this during my opponent's turn. That's like the only time it comes up. Generally, the hand negate effect is kind of fake because they just out it. This card's pretty good. Very important for adding back row. And Big Gabonga is your most important XZs. If you were to cut all these XZs, you would just keep Gabonga because this card is how you bridge into your combo. It's also really good for like forcing interactions like outing cards because it can suck up cards as material. So that's actually really cool. Yeah, but that's it for the extract. 15, like 5, 5, and 5. Very nice and very uniform. You don't need a lot of fusions. Like Guardian Chimera is kind of fake. It doesn't really come out too much, but it comes with like out of like 1 out of 25, 30 games. I want to say, maybe that's a lot. I don't know. I personally feel like if I get to the point where I can like Guardian Chimera them, I've already kind of won. So I don't know. There's lots of tweaking. There's lots of like uniqueness I can put in this extract. Like you could choose not to play this, you could choose not to play this, you could choose not to play like some of these XZs and just play more like the Fallen, the Virtuous Targets or stuff like that. But yeah, that's it for the extract. Very solid cards. Then for the side deck, 3 Ash. I think you have to side deck Ash. I think it's crazy not to side deck Ash in my opinion because yes, this deck is good under Charmies, but that's like I think that's really fake because it's never just a Charmy. It's usually like a Charmy plus a Veiler, Charmy plus a Nib, Charmy plus something, right? So you run into the issue of like, yeah, if I only get Charmy, I can play around it really, really well, and I feel comfortable. But if I play against a Charmy plus anything else, I'm losing that game. Like Nib plus Charmy FDKs this deck. Like I promise you that. So having an Ash just to beat a Charmy is really convenient. It just makes your life easier. So I don't see a reason why you wouldn't do that. And then 2 Ghost Bell, and then 2 Droll. Droll was a last minute change. For the longest time, I wasn't playing this list with Droll, and I just decided just to play it because um, I don't know why I didn't play. Honestly, I really don't know. But these were really solid just to kind of try and beat your Draco Tail matchup because that is a really hard matchup for this deck. So you side in these 7 for going first, and then you side in these 5 for second against Draco Tail and like relevant matchups. 2 double Cyclone and a Duster. I had to make room for Drolls. I think I was originally on 3 Duster and something else, but I had to cut 1 to make room for Droll. I did not see these. It did not matter. I lost anyway. Call by. This card's insane. Just beats Charmies. TC and then 3 Evenly. I think Evenly is really good. This deck, like I said, it has a problem with back row, and I think Evenly is just a really good like neutralizer card. Like you don't want to let your opponent combo for free too much, so having it out like this is really good. And that's it for the everything. As for the future changes, I think I'm really happy with most of the list. I think Joel's could be an argument for Joel's could be made for like other stuff, but I think everything in here is really good. The extract hasn't changed in like over a month and a half. The side deck had changed for the tournament because this was originally at 3 and I threw this in last minute, but the main deck's been the same for as the same as the extract. It's no changes. These could be Fallen the Virtuous if you can't afford these or like didn't want to play them. I think Fallen is also really good for adding certain stuff. It depends. If you're running to a lot of like floodgate cards, Fallen is probably better. But if you're running to like combo decks, I guess, or targeting decks, this is a lot better. So I guess it just depends on your locals. But I would keep the ratios the same, in my opinion, because it's really hard to like slim down on it anymore. You're playing 45, and I really wanted to be able to see my Charmies and stuff like that. So I'm very much content with this list. I could see myself trying a version that doesn't play the Radiant Typhoon card since chance or value right now, but at the moment I think they're a really good addition. But anyway, that's the end of the deck profile. If you made it all the way in, I appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for listening. And then if you have any other variants you want me to try out or stuff like that, please let me know down below in the comments.